Welcome back to a new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars with Maggie Lovett. I just want to start off the episode by thanking everyone who has followed me this week. I am so thankful for all of my new subscribers and for everyone who has been here with me along the way. It has been so awesome, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you. Now, I will say that I am a little tired today. I stayed up until 1 a.m. hanging out over on Steel Wars live stream. So I am not going to be talking about The Believer in today's episode, simply because I did 3 live streams back to back, and I feel like I have probably bored everyone with my rhapsodizing and philosophizing about Din Djarin and the emotional arc that we are being taken on. So I am going to hold off until the season finale. So next Sunday, I will hopefully have a new video, and I will be talking about The Believer and whatever next week's episode is called, because I do want to see how they're going to close out this arc, because it has been everything I could have dreamed of. So I'm very excited about that. But if you do want to listen to me, you can check out the Star Wars Friends podcast, the Geeky Waffle, and Steel Wars. I also wrote an article this week for Your Money Geek, and all of those things are going to be down in the description of this video. So have at it. Enjoy me rambling about proverbial armor and the transformative properties of Din Djarin's face. That's a thing that happened. If you haven't noticed, I'm wearing a very specific t-shirt that was made for me by the wonderful Candace from the Geeky Waffle, and I will be linking her shop down in the description as well. But something really exciting happened this week. But before we talk about that, I am going to roll some footage from about a month ago in an episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars.
I'd also really love to see Patty Jenkins direct a Star Wars. Having been directed by her, she's incredible. She's so intuitive and she's so thoughtful and she's so genuine. And there's like a true give and take between her and everyone on set. And so I think she could really create something really incredible with Star Wars. And she just has such a fantastic creative vision.
Patty Jenkins is directing a Star Wars film. Oh my gosh, that announcement during the Disney Investors Day video conference was quite possibly the most exciting thing that I have heard in weeks. So excited. Patty Jenkins, like I said, is truly one of the best directors in the market right now. She is just so phenomenal. I'm also obviously a child of the expanded universe, and I am extremely excited about the prospects of getting maybe some familiar faces. I grew up reading Michael A. Stackpole's X-Wing series, The Rogue Squadron. I famously, or perhaps infamously, tried to build a X-Wing in my shed when I was a child using tomato cages, some duct tape, and wood and cardboard from my garage. It didn't go too well. Was definitely not safe for flight. But I'm very excited to see what she does. Patty is such a female character-driven director and writer. So I do really hope that there is a central female character and maybe some familiar faces from the Rogue Squadron. I do know that since the announcement, she has said that they aren't adapting the book series, but they're going to be influenced by it. So that gives me a lot of hope. I don't need that to be adapted. I think back in like the early aughts, I would have loved it, but we have progressed past the 90s and the 90s storytelling. And while those book series are fantastic, I do like seeing new life being kind of breathed into elements of the expanded universe. So I'm very excited for that series. And I can say that somebody who is directing Star Wars has also directed me. I'm very excited about that. Oh, Cassian Andor, my beloved. I am so excited about the Andor series. I am not excited about having to wait until 2022 to watch it. Definitely the most disappointing part of that announcement. But they are 3 weeks into production and they gave fans a truly phenomenal sizzle reel. I think a highlight from that sizzle reel was learning that Diego is not just the star of the series, but he is the executive producer. So I'm very excited about that. I also really liked seeing behind the scenes and seeing some of the stunt coordination, the costume creation, and the creature creation. I thought that was very neat. And I love the Star Wars fandom because everybody was screenshotting those clips and zooming in, and they're like, "Ooh, is that Quinlan Voss? Is that, look at this creature. We saw this in this movie." So I really enjoy that, and that's definitely a highlight of being part of the Star Wars fandom because we are always creating our board with the red lines, and we're like trying to connect everything. And honestly, I think the Andor series has a lot of potential for bringing more of that connective tissue into Star Wars because it's such a great launch pad for all of the other stories. There's an opportunity to bring Bail Organa in, and we could see Harrison Dula, and we can just see all of these characters that have already been introduced to us in like animated series or in the prequel trilogy. And there's a lot of ways to flush out that period before A New Hope. And I do find that period of time very interesting because it definitely seemed like a lot was happening, and we're seeing a lot of references to situations in The Mandalorian. So I'm really curious to see what they do with that. And I can't wait for 2022. All right, y'all. I'm going to be real with you here. I cried. 13-year-old Maggie definitely had an out-of-body experience when Kathleen Kennedy announced that Hayden Christensen will be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I cried. I really did. If you had told me in 2005 that 15 years later we would be finding out that Hayden Christensen would be returning to Star Wars, I don't think I would have believed you. I still can't fully believe that it's happening. Yeah, 13-year-old Maggie is having a field day right now inside of my head because she's still in there. She's still in there. But I'm really excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I think Deborah Chow is a phenomenal writer and director, and I'm very excited to see what she does with it. I'm also very happy that it is a limited series and that we know how many episodes we're going to get, and we're not going to have to worry about cliffhangers or are they going to get renewed and like things like that. And I like that they have a very set like bounds around them, and so they know what they can do with the story, and they can follow through with all of that and not leave us hanging. So I'm very excited about that. And just in general, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi again just fills my heart with so much glee, and I cannot wait to see what they do. I do have a wish. I would really love to see a flashback of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Duchess Satine. I will never be over that. And I would just love to see Satine in live action in particular. So make that happen, Disney. Make it happen, please. So I am on record as not being excited for the Bad Batch, but damn if that sizzle reel did not make me excited for the series. I am very interested in the post-Clone Wars period of time. Lots of upheaval, lots of like prime storytelling opportunities. I'm still not 100% sold on the Bad Batch. I did think that episode was some of the weakest storytelling in the Clone Wars. Maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I just was not here for it. Especially knowing that there was a finite number of episodes to finish the season, and it just felt like it was wasting time. Obviously, it was because it was a backdoor spinoff, but that's a moot point now. I will say, hey Finnick, hey girls, so excited to see that Finnick is in the Bad Batch. I'm so excited that she is back in The Mandalorian, and knowing that they are giving us more Finnick years before The Mandalorian just like filled my heart with so much glee. And I'm really hoping that we get more Finnick. I love her and I love that character. And I was so mad last season when it looked like they had killed her off. So super thankful to Boba Fett for saving her because I was very mad. But in general, I think the Bad Batch has the opportunity to be really really interesting. The trailer made it look really interesting. Um, and I mean, I'm softening to it. I'm still not like as excited for the Bad Batch as I am for something like Rogue Squadron or Andor or Obi-Wan Kenobi. But, I'll watch it. You'll hear me talking about it. It's going to happen. But I'm really curious to know what everybody thought about that trailer, because that trailer just was like heart stopping. And somehow Palpatine returned. I can't see Palpatine and not quote that line. It's a thing. So we didn't learn a lot about Leslie Headland's series, but we do know that it is called The Acolyte, and it is about the final days of the High Republic as the dark side starts to emerge. That alone sounds really fascinating, and I am ready for the High Republic to become the new expanded universe for me, in terms of like content creation. I will admit that I have not finished the High Republic arcs that I got. I am waiting for the physical copies to show up. I hate reading on my phone, but I did read a few chapters, and oh my gosh, it is so good. And there's so much free content out there right now. Cavan Scott keeps posting links to like sample chapters, and I really implore everybody to read that because High Republic's great. And I'm so excited about Leslie Headland. Russian Doll is one of my favorite series that Netflix has created. And just knowing how she tells stories, I think there is a potential for the Acolyte to be like show-stopping Star Wars content. So I am very excited about that one. Disappointed that we didn't get a lot of information, but very excited about what is going to happen with that. All right, so Ahsoka. I will admit that I am indifferent to Ahsoka, which I recognize is a privileged opinion to have or an emotion to have. I understand why people are both very happy and very disappointed about this announcement, and I think both emotions are valid. I will say that in terms of this Ahsoka limited series, I simply see it as a gateway to getting Ezra back and to getting a live action Thrawn, which again, I never would have imagined even saying is a possibility. Really excited about that. And I'm also really excited to see how they're going to use the Ahsoka limited series and the other spinoff series that was announced as a culmination of something with The Mandalorian. It definitely seems like maybe that's building up to a big, like epic cinematic finale for The Mandalorian. So I'm very excited about that prospect, which then of course brings me to the other spinoff announcement. So, of all of the announcements on Thursday, I was the most disappointed to hear about Rangers of the New Republic, which is essentially cops in space, which, fun. Um, I will say, if we can be real for a moment, that I did think that it was very intentional that they did not announce any castings involved in this series. If you'll notice, they did mention that Rosario Dawson will be playing Ahsoka in the live action Ahsoka series, but they did not mention any characters involved with Rangers of the New Republic. Personally, I would like to see Paul as Carson showing up. I think that would be really awesome. We obviously all recognize that his cameo was setting up a backdoor pilot, but I don't think that Disney or Lucasfilm is going to reward bad behavior. If you'll notice, now I will say I can't see a certain someone's Twitter feed because she blocked me after the fundraiser and my name appeared in this magazine. Literally the next day she blocked me and I had never interacted with her. So that was fun. But she didn't touch the announcement at all. They didn't tag her in the announcement. I do not believe that she is going to be involved with it. I'm willing to be wrong and I will be outraged at that point. And this is just my personal opinion. I absolutely know nothing about it, but I do not believe that she is going to be involved in it. And I also don't think it's going to be happening for a while. I'm hoping what they're doing right now is going back to the drawing board and figuring out how they can create something different if that had been their intention before. Which it goes without saying that trans rights are human rights. This is the way. That fundraiser is going to continue to stay open until December 20th, which is next Sunday. We are almost at $20,000. And I've just, again, like I've been so amazed by what the Star Wars fandom has done, rallying together around this cause. And it goes without saying as well, wear a mask, science is real, Black Lives Matters, and some people really just need to stop tweeting. On a happier note, we are also getting a Lando Calrissian series, which is going to be created by writer and director Justin Simeon, who is the writer and director of the Netflix series Dear White People. If you haven't watched Dear White People, what are you doing? Go watch it. It's fantastic. It's extremely well written, and it is honestly extremely eye-opening as well. And it's definitely like must-have viewing if you have Netflix. So go watch that. I'm really excited about this. Definitely feel like a Lando Calrissian series is long overdue. I am hoping that it's going to be like Billy D telling stories, and then we get to watch Donald Glover as Lando, like acting them out. So I'm excited to see what happens. Again, we didn't get a lot of information about this. I don't think we even got a announcement date for when it's going to be out. So it's definitely still an early pre-production, but very excited about that. I'm also excited to see the Star Wars Visions anthology. It's an animated series of short films that will be created by Japanese anime animators. And I think that's going to be really, really fascinating. And I'm looking forward to that and hoping that that's going to bring about more of that in the future, because I think that's just going to be like really remarkable storytelling. And then we also got a droid story, which I'm not super hype about. Spoiler alert, I am not a big fan of C-3PO. Like, he's okay, but he's a Skywalker, so he's a little whiny. Sorry, C-3PO, you're not on my Christmas list. But I'm excited to see that. It sounds like we're getting a new droid as C-3PO and R2-D2 like take them on a journey. So it could be fun. Definitely an homage back to some older storytelling in the Star Wars franchise. Which brings me to the untitled film that all of us are waiting for. Taika Waititi's untitled Star Wars film was announced yet again, still untitled. We still know nothing about it. However, we did get a very interesting logo, and it looks like Schoolhouse Rock. It also looks like the animation from the Star Wars holiday special. Yes, that holiday special. And it reminds me of the Boba Fett animation. And it definitely caught my interest. Really curious to know what he's going to do. But again, we know like absolutely nothing except that Taika is doing it. But I'm very, very hopeful for that. I also feel like there was a lot of things that weren't announced at this investors call, which most likely just has to do with like contracts aren't dried and things aren't finalized, and so they're not going to announce it to the investors. Honestly, Investors Day was already extremely overwhelming. My head is still kind of mushy because it was just like so much information and like so much content. But as somebody who grew up reading books from the Star Wars like franchise and dreaming about seeing all those things in live action someday, I really feel like we're entering into the golden era of Star Wars, and I'm so here for it. So I really hope that you enjoy this recap of all of the news that we found out about this week. It was so incredible, and I really enjoyed kind of watching it and seeing what we're going to get. The sizzle reels. If you haven't seen the sizzle reel they presented for The Mandalorian, it was just up to Robert Rodriguez's episode. It makes The Mandalorian look so incredible and like a movie, and if I wasn't already watching like this series every week, it would have definitely caught my interest, and I would have been like, I'm watching that. Like canceling all of my plans, I'm watching that. So I'm very excited about that. So before I go, I did want to show off two of my latest purchases. So as part of the yearly Christmas sale, Her Universe had pens. And this was the first year I actually got to get a pen. Previous years, I liked the Porg pen, but I just didn't want to spend $40 to get it. And this year, the pen was Ahsoka and Rex. And I love Ahsoka and Rex, so how could I not get this pen? It also came with Ashley's autograph, which is cool. Always like a good autograph. So I will be wearing my Star Wars sweatshirt in the 3 live streams if you catch them. That was a sweatshirt I bought to get the pen. I love it. I also plan to do like a fashion show on here at some point and like show off all of my different t-shirts, because I have like an entire section of my closet that's just like Star Wars shirts. So I will show those all off to all of you in the future. And speaking of Star Wars shirts, picked up this bad boy this week. And I'm going to open it for you. So this is one of Target's like bundle deals. And so it comes with a Moff Gideon t-shirt and a Moff Gideon Funko Pop. And I do not currently own a Moff Gideon, so I thought I would purchase it, even though he has the child in handcuffs. And I'm not happy about that. But Moff Gideon's awesome, even if he's terrible. So let's see. So here's the t-shirt. So it's Funko Moff Gideon, looking like a little badass. Totally here for it. And then we also have a glow-in-the-dark Moff Gideon. I'm assuming the Darksaber glows in the dark. So love this. Very excited about this purchase. I do have a few more purchases coming soon, so I might tie that into the end of next week's episode. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy kind of hearing my recap about all of the new series and films that we're going to be getting. And season 3 of The Mandalorian will be back December 25th, 2021, which is far too long to wait.